good. All right, y'all. So this is the last section on test 2, and this will be 5.4. And it deals with what we call complex rational expressions. Any of y'all going to be taking business math classes?
No.
All right, so this would have been a formula for them for business taxes. But we're going to look at what we call the difference quotient. Okay, this is given by a formula. So my formula is f of x plus h minus f of x all divided by h. Now, y'all have worked this formula with straight lines before. If you've ever found the slope of a straight line, doing the y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, that ring the bell?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what this is. This would be like the y2 and the y1, and then the h would be the difference between the x's, the x2 minus x1. But that would only work for straight lines, and we needed one that would work for all the curved lines and stuff. So they use the actual function values on this one, okay? So to work this formula, first thing I do is find my f x plus h. Okay, because they're going to give me the f of x plus part right here, and the h is always just going to be an h on the bottom. So to really, when you get started, you got to figure out what's the f of x plus h part. Then you want to plug that into your formula. So whatever I get out of that, I'm going to plug that into my formula. I'm then going to distribute the subtraction on top. So distribute the subtraction. And then combine my terms on top. Now, after you combine them like terms on top, the only terms left on top, so the only terms left on top will contain h's. Will contain the h variable. So once I do that part of adding those like terms on top, if it don't have an h in it, then I did something wrong. It's got to have that h in it, okay? Now then, I'm going to divide everything on top by the h on the bottom. So divide all terms on top by the h on the bottom. And basically when you do that, you're just simplifying it on down, okay? And then at that point, write the answer. Or how about write the result? Okay, so they're not bad. Now, they can get a lot of foiling on these, depending on whether I got x squared or x cubed sitting in here, okay? So not too bad. So here we go. So I'll start out with a straight line. So these will say for the function, construct and simplify the difference quotient. All right, so for R number 1, they're giving me f of x equals 7x minus 3. So that would be a straight line. Now, I know since that's a straight line, I know that that 7 in front of that x is my slope. So when I'm done, since this difference quotient is only finding me the slope of this, when I'm done, I should end up with that 7, okay? Because that is the slope of that line. But we're going to use this to get that, okay? So the first thing I said, I was going to find f of x plus h. So here we go. F of x plus h. That means you're going to take this f of x expression, 7x minus 3, and where it's got that x, I'm going to put x plus h. So replace the x with the x plus h, and then we're going to simplify that. So really, the only way to simplify that is get rid of them parentheses.
So if there was a x behind the 3.
If there was an x behind the 3, then it'd be an x plus h. Every x that I get on here will be an x plus h on here, okay? So now I'm going to simplify this, and really all I can do is get rid of my parentheses. So that this would give me 7 times x is 7x, 7 times h is a 7h, and then at the end is my minus 3. So this is now my f of x plus h that I'm going to plug into my formula. So to plug it in my formula, I start out with parentheses and put that all over my h. Okay. So the formula has f of x plus h. Well, we now know what that is. That's going to be this part where I got a 7x plus 7h minus 3. F of x they gave us. F of x is going to be 7x minus 3. Okay, so notice, all I did, I took this formula, they gave me the f of x, so I knew what to put in for it. All I had to do was find the f of x plus h. Now, I'm going to distribute the subtraction so that this line now gives me 7x plus 7h minus 3 minus 7x, and then minus a negative 3 would make that a plus 3 all over h. So now, when I combine my terms on top, a lot of stuff should start canceling out. So we got a 7x. It's going to cancel with the negative 7x. So I'm going to cancel them out. I got more. I got a negative 3 up here. This negative 3 is going to cancel with the positive 3. So notice what I said. After you do this, the only terms left on top will contain an h in them. Well, look, all I got on top is a 7h, and it does have the h in it. So then you would write 7h over h. And then what do we say right here? Divide all terms on top by the h on the bottom. So what's going to happen to them h's? They're going to cancel. So since my h's cancel, my final answer is 7. But we knew that because that was a straight line and the slope is the mx plus b stuff. So I knew what was ever in front of that x on that was going to be the slope since that was a straight line. So that's not bad. Most of your work is the X plus H stuff. Once you get the X plus H stuff, everything else will start canceling out, okay? No question on that? Now, don't worry, once I get down about number 3, it'll be a different story.
Oh, yeah.
So number 2 was another straight line, so let me go to number 3 here. So we're going to turn it up a little bit. And I'm going to do f of x equals x squared plus 3. Oh, that little exponent they just a trickier problem, y'all. My math ain't going. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to find f of x plus h with this. So that means where we got an x being squared is now going to be an x plus h being squared plus my 3. Okay? So replace the x with the x plus h. Uh-oh, I got an x plus h being squared here, so I'm going to do side work and figure out what is the x plus h squared. Now, we'll say this. Once we figure out what x plus h is squared is going to be, save it for later, because it's always going to be the same, okay? So you would write this twice, and then you would FOIL that. So x times x is x squared, x times h is a hx, h times x in the middle is another hx, and then let's see, the h times h is a h squared. So I'm going to add my terms in the middle to get the like terms, because the hx's will add, so you should get an x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. So that this becomes x squared plus 2hx plus h squared, but remember at the end is still a plus 3. Okay? So I did that just to stick that stuff right in there. That is now f of x plus h. So now I can go into putting it into my formula. My f of x plus h minus my f of x will be all over h. I will say the part that kills people on this the most, they FOIL this and put that here, but they forget about that plus 3 at the end. You still got to bring that with us. So this will be x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus 3. F of x they gave me was x squared plus 3. So remember now we're going to distribute again so we can start adding the like terms. So I'm going to distribute my subtraction through the second parentheses. So this line will now give me an x squared plus 2hx plus a h squared plus 3. That's the f of x plus h. Minus the x squared minus the 3. All that's over h. And you'll notice, I got more stuff this time, but if it don't have an h, it's still going to cancel. X squareds cancel, right? I got a plus and a minus x squared, so I'm going to cancel them. Let's see, that's got an h, so it ain't canceling. That's got an h, so it ain't canceling. But the 3's don't have h's, and guess what? They're going to cancel. So notice what's left on here. You got a 2hx plus the h squared all over h. And here we go, we're at this place now. Divide all terms on top by that h on the bottom. So what's going to happen here? 2hx divided by h, those h's are going to cancel right out, and I'm just going to end up with a 2x. Plus, here you got an h squared divided by the h, which is going to take away one of them h's on top, and leaves me with the 1h. And guess what? No more like terms, nothing on bottom to cancel, so that would be our final answer. So since this is an x squared, it's like a parabola. The slope of this line depends on the x and how far is that h. Okay. Okay, so number 4 I'm about to do, I'll put a star by it. You might see it a few times in life. I know we like to, actually this might be like the one I put on the bonus. Alexis, you got the bonus pulled up?
Well, I got it right there.
I got it right here. So
Okay, let me see what mine. 7x squared plus 3x. Yeah, I think that'll be like the one I'm about to do. Although mine's got an extra number on it too, so. All right, y'all, number 4, I got this. F of x equals negative 9x squared plus 6x plus a 7. And I think this is the one they love to put on our test, okay? And on our final, so start out, and this is probably going to be seen a little bit. Oh, y'all look at that, that's a little bigger, ain't it? So first of all, I'm going to find f of x plus h. That's going to equal negative 9 times x, which is x plus h squared, plus 6 times x, which is x plus h, plus my 7. So to work on some of these is the x plus h stuff. But did y'all notice I had 2 x's, so both of them had to become that x plus h on there, okay? Now, I'm not going to foil this out because we already know what x plus h squared equals. So that's what I'm saying. When you get this kind of stuff on here, save it because you'll use the same stuff, okay? So I'm going to figure out x plus h. I'm going to bring down my negative 9. I know what this equals. It equals x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. Then I'm going to bring everything else down. So all I did was replace that with this that we figured out long ago. Okay. So now you can go further because you can multiply that negative 9 through the first parentheses and the 6 through the second parentheses. So I'm going to distribute the negative 9. So it gives me a negative 9x squared. Negative 9 times 2 is a negative 18hx. Negative 9 times h squared is a negative 9h squared. So I just distributed my negative 9 through there. Now we're going to distribute the 6. So 6 times x is a 6x. 6 times h is a 6h. And then at the very end, I'm going to bring down my plus 7. There you go. Now, let me tell you the sad part. Sad part, there's no like terms in this. X squares can't add to nothing, HX's, the H squared, nothing's like terms. So I'm gonna put all that into my formula. All right, so f of x plus h is this stuff now. Negative 9x squared minus 18hx minus 9h squared plus 6x plus 6h plus 7. Ooh, that's a long one. F of x they gave me in the very beginning, so now I can put my f of x in here, which is a negative 9x squared plus 6x plus 7. So now I'm going to distribute that subtraction so I can rewrite this. So distribute that subtraction to all three of those. So let's see what we get. Negative 9x squared minus 18hx minus 9h squared plus 6x plus 6h plus 7. Now, a double negative, we'll make that a positive 9x squared. Negative times a positive 6x makes that a negative 6x. Negative times a positive 7 makes that a negative 7. All of this over h. You got to love the algebra in this class, right? Now, your stuff won't cancel. Remember, if it don't have an h, it's gone. So that x squared, 9x squared, right here is it. That's got an h, that's got an h. So I know the 6x is going to cancel with a negative 6x. And y'all had one more. What was it? 7. 7 and negative 7. Okay? Really, if you can figure this stuff out and then drop everything that don't have the h, you're going to get the same thing.
Wait, the step above that?
Yeah, all this right here, once I figure out this f of x plus h, if it don't have h's at this point, they're going to cancel. So remember, we got rid of the x squareds, we got rid of the 6x, and we got rid of the 7. Okay? All right, so let me see. I should only have 3 or 4 things up here. I got a negative 18hx minus 9h squared. What else? Plus the 6h all over h. And the reason we need an h left on that point is because they all got to divide by that h. So I'm going to start with the negative 18hx divided by h. Those h's would cancel, leaving you a negative 18x. Basically, just subtract one h from everybody on top. Then this will be minus the 9h squared divided by h. One of those h's will cancel, leaving you a 9h. Plus the 6h divided by the h. Those h's cancel, just leaving you a 6. So really, that last step, all you're doing is just canceling one of them h's out and being done. Okay? So see, these parameters, that depends on those x's and those h's really to figure out their slopes on them curvy lines, okay? All right, so I got the last one here is just a 9x to the third. That looks pretty little, right? All right, question on those? Question on 9? Really, though, it's that f of x plus h part that's going to be the killer. Everything else you're just plugging into the formula and canceling. It's just getting that f of x plus h. All right, so let's see what we do on this one. So the little one's just going to be little. The last one's little. It's just 9x to the third. But don't let that little one term fool you. It's got a fairly big exponent on it over 3. Okay? So, what I need to do is find f of x plus h. So that's going to equal 9 times my x, which is x plus h to the third. Uh-oh. We got to figure out what x plus h to the third is. So we need side work on this one. X plus h to the third will be a x plus h times the x plus h times x plus h. Now, I'm going to FOIL 2 of these at a time. We know what this equals, the x plus h times the x plus h. We wrote that down a while ago. That part should equal x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. See, I was cheating, I knew it was right here. But we got to take that answer and multiply by the other x plus h. So this one, when you got the FOIL, and then you got FOIL again. So all 3 of these times both of those. So x squared times x is an x to the third. X squared times h is an h x squared. I'm just going to keep mine in alphabetical order. Now, 2hx times x is a 2hx squared. So when you multiply by x, you're just adding the x. When you multiply by the h, you're just adding the h. So 2hx times h is a 2h squared x. Well, I'm down to the last ones. So h squared times x is a h squared x. H squared times h is a h to the third. Now, we might have some like terms in here, so I'm just going to look and see. There's no x3, so I'm going to bring that down. Hx squared, here's an hx squared, and those are h squared x's. So these two will add together. 1x squared plus 2hx squared is going to give me 3hx squareds. Those h squared x's are like terms right here. I got 2h squared x plus 1h squared x will give me 3h squared x's. And then at the end is my h to the third. So save this. Anytime you got an x plus h to the third, that's what you're going to get. And y'all is going to need that same exact part, okay? All right, so what I would do now is take this 9 and replace the x plus h to the third with what I just figured out, which is an x to the third plus 3hx squared plus 3h squared x. And let me write right here, plus the h to the third. And y'all, I'm going to do one more step now. I'm going to distribute that 9 through so that I can get rid of the parentheses. So all 4 of these got to be multiplied by the 9. 9 times x to the third is 9x to the third. 9 times 3 is going to give me 27hx squareds. 9 times 3 gives me 27h squared x. And then 9 times h to the third is 9h to the third. Oh, that was long. And all we did was figure out the f of x plus h part of this. So now, I'm going to put them in my parentheses. over my H. And look at this. The only thing up here that does not have an H in it is that 9x to the third. So I'm predicting that that's the only thing that's going to cancel. So here we go. 9x to the third plus 27hx squared plus 27h squared x plus 9h to the third minus f of x, which was 9x to the third. Okay. Oh, this one's a little crazy because of that cube on it. So although it looked like it was a small one with that 9x to the third, it was really the longest one because of the third. Look at this. This 9x cubed is going to cancel this 9x cubed because that's negative and that's positive. Everything else left has an h. So let's bring them down. 27hx squared plus 27h squared x plus 9h to the third, all divided by h. So take away one h from everybody on top so that we get a 27x squared. So only had one h, it canceled. The middle part has two h's. One of those will cancel, so you get a 27hx. And then at the end, you got a 9h to the third. One of these h's will cancel with one of these h's, leaving me a 9h to the second. And then none of these are like terms, so y'all, that is our final answer. So that's the trick on those, is trying to get that f of x plus h. So you got your homework pulled out?
Hmm?
Are you doing 5.4?
Yeah, I just.
All right, any of them bugging us?
Hmm?
Any of them bugging us?
No,
Are you girls doing good?
I guess I did.
Well, that gives you a green check, you're doing good. A red X, you don't want to see. All right, any questions online? Let me see, let me catch y'all up real quick. I got to go all I got here. So I got Roy. All right, looks like I got all y'all online, so let's see.
Well, I forget.
All right, so here's my plans then. Monday, I'll come in and review y'all for test 2. I'll open test 2 Monday, and test 2 will be due the next Sunday.
Okay.
So I'll leave it open all week for y'all to do and stuff. Now Wednesday, I will start in that chapter 8 stuff. But I'll give y'all the whole week for that test, okay? Trick on my test, do the study guides because they are exactly the same. And this test, I did knock it down to 20 questions instead of 25. So, like I said, I'll review Monday, and then after that, it's on y'all for that test.